Hi there and welcome to the Barbara Young channel. Now I'm actually going to make a skirt, and the skirt pattern I'm going to use is the Simplicity 8133. That one. Now I've made this skirt before. I made it a couple of times. Actually the last time I made it I made a couple of amendments to it, made it a lot more, I suppose, wearable, much nicer to sort of sit on my frame, as it were. And the other thing I also did was put some pockets in it, some side pockets. So that was really helpful, because the original pattern, as it shows on here, is one of them has a patch pocket on it, which is fine. I like that, but I do prefer to have those side pockets. Now this time I'm making it because I want to make an amendment or an adjustment to it, to the actual closure, the way that the band and that sort of ties and fixes. So I'm going to try and make that to have more of an adjustable piece to it, because once you put it together, once you've tied it up, it's sort of fixed in one point. I will put it on in a moment, my previous version, so I can show you what I'm talking about. But first of all, let's have a look at the material I'm going to use. Now, I went to a thrift shop, or a charity shop here in the UK we call them, and found a dress that basically was pretty much just straight up and down, and I thought, well, the material on that is going to be really useful to turn it into something else. And it is, let's have a look, it's like, I don't know if you can see that very well. As you can see, it feels like a viscose. That's what I think it is, with the almost like a leaf pattern on there. It's in this sort of reddish brown, as you can see, and that's quite nice. It's a bit shiny and it's sort of drapey as well, so you know, that's going to hopefully hang quite nicely, that is. Now it did have a lining as well, and the lining also brown, reddish brown, and this feels much more like, feels like a linen, to be honest. I've not done any burn test to find out exactly what it is, but yeah, so you've got the main dress material and the lining. So the bulk of the skirt is going to be made with the dress material, and the lining, I'm going to use it for some parts that I feel that I'm going to need, and partly because I can't get everything out of this material, because being a dress, it only had a certain width to it, so I'm sort of limited as to how much I can get from this. But this does help me to get there. But used in like the waistband for the as it were, the back of it, or the casing side of the waistband. So both of these pieces will get used to make the skirt. So what I'll do is I'll just put that on and tell you about how I'm thinking of adjusting it. So this is the skirt on. It is a wrap, comes here, and has a popper over here. Just got it tucked in a bit so you can see that. And yes, got pockets, side pockets, so it's quite nice, you know, wrap skirt, and sits really nicely on me. But the thing being is that there's a popper here, which means this point is fixed, and I want to change that. So what I'll do is I'll just get a bit close to the camera and show you how I'm envisaging changing that. So this wrap skirt ties up on the left here. It's got quite long ties on there, as you can see. But over on the right side here, what we've got is one of those pressed popper things, and it's on the end. But the trouble being is that being there means that that part is now fixed. So when I put it on, you know, I have to hope that it's, you know, I haven't put loads of weight on, or that it's going to be snug enough. I'm not going to think, oh my god, I've lost loads of weight, or I've got fat, I suppose, and can't wear it. Or for me, I have the issue of having a bloated stomach, because I tend to have a bit of a bad tummy at times. So that being fixed at that point can sometimes be a problem. So how I'm intending to try and fix that, basically, is to put like belt loops on this part here But so these belt loops would be on the inside. You wouldn't see them on the outside, they'd be on the inside. And then this section here, I'm going to put a length on there, just a small length, not much, about that long, and then that will have the other part of the popper on it, so that that can go through the belt loop and will then fix on, so that if I need to expand it out and make it wider, I can just put it through the next belt loop, and that way I'll have some ease within the skirt, so that I can, if I need to have it a bit looser, I can, or maybe a bit tighter, I can, and that way it'll be, as it were, partly or semi-adjustable to make it easier on the waist when it's feeling a little uncomfortable. Rather than thinking, I can't wear that today, I could be able to put it on and still be able to wear it. So that's my plan for taking this skirt pattern and trying to make it just a little bit more wearable. So this skirt hopefully will be more comfortable to wear with that adjustment. Hopefully it'll come out nicely. I say it'll look just like this one, obviously, but just plain brown. Well, it's not quite a plain brown, but you know what I mean. It's not this fancy croissant material that I've got, but hopefully this material is quite slinky, so yeah, hopefully it'll come out quite nice. So I better get my material marked up, cut out, and get on with it. So I've finally got everything cut out. This material is it's a little bit tricky to work with, but you know, it's not too bad. It's slinky, but not as slinky as some materials. So everything's ready to go. I've got a bit of interfacing to do, but other than that, I'm ready to start putting this together. So here's the skirt section that I've now got together. It's only 3 pieces, so it's quite simple, the skirt section, and it's coming on quite nicely. Even got pockets, so yeah, they went in quite well really. So next up is the waistband, and the waistband on this is a little bit tricky, so well, that's I suppose where all the work comes in, getting that waistband together, because this part was relatively simple. So on with the next part. Well, I've managed to get my waistbands ready and put together. Waistband is in 2 parts, so this is sort of a facing piece against the actual waistband, which this part I've interfaced. I've put one of the ties on, which fixes in here, and then I've got the other tie and this additional small bit that I'm going to be putting in at the other end. Now, what I've also got to do is I've actually got to sort out the tags that I'm going to use. And as you can see, I've got some tags here that I've made. These are going to form like the belt loops that I want to put in. But I've got to work out whereabouts along here on this strip that I'm going to put those loops, because at the moment I'm not totally sure. So yeah, to work out the spacing that's going to be required to put them in the right place. And then what I'll do is I will fix these 2 parts together. Normally what you're meant to do is to fix this bit onto the skirt first and then add this bit, but I'm going to fix these 2 together, which is why I need to work out where these parts go, and then I will fix this part onto the skirt and sort out the facing and the other tie. So hopefully that won't take too long, but I'd better get on with it and see where these have got to go. So the waistband is pretty much done now. On this side we've got the tie piece. That's one of the ties that is already in the waistband as it's being made. This at the back and the left front, and then this bit, and then this bit over here comes across and crosses over it. But what we're going to do is put in an extra bit because I'm having these strap pieces. So this bit will come out this side and loop through them with the popper on there to help hold it in place. But as you see, I'd be able to move that depending on which belt loop I actually put it through. So what I've got to do now is put this actually onto the skirt. Well, I finally managed to get the waistband actually on. It took me somewhat rather longer than I might have thought it would. In the end, I had to hand stitch the inner part. I machined it onto the outer side, but then I had to hand stitch this because it just wouldn't sit right. It just wasn't going to lie down and do what it should do. So I couldn't do that thing of stitching the ditch, which was very unhelpful. But there you go. I've got a little tab on this side, and as we come along, we've got the first main tie, which is on the left hand side, and then come along to the other end. That's the other tie that will wrap across the body. This goes across the front and ties onto the left hand side. That's how I've got it. And then this little tab that I've got it designed to go through these loops, but these loops will be on the inside, and then once this comes through the loop, there'll be a snap on this side, so it hooks onto the loop, and then this goes across the body, and that just helps secure this part on the inside rather than just using the snap. Because I've got 3 of them, I've got a little bit of adjustment, so I can place it however I feel. If I'm feeling a little bit thinner one day or a bit larger one day, hopefully there's enough adjustment in that if there's a little bit of change in my body shape from day to day, it'll actually account for that. So that's almost done now, but I need to hem it now, so I've got to get the hemming done, and then it is pretty much finished. And finally, it is finished. It's taken me somewhat longer to get done than I wanted, but then that seems to be a bit of a theme with most of my projects. They always take a little bit longer than expected, but never mind, it is done. It is a wrap, as you can see, a wrap skirt, folds over, ties on the left hand side, and it's a skirt I've made before. I've done another video on this skirt quite some time ago. I think it was a unicorn print on that one, and that was the original first version that I'd actually done. I've done it a couple of times since. I've made the croissant skirt that was this exact same design, again with the pockets, because that's when I first worked out how to put the pockets in the side seams, which is actually really relatively simple. It's quite a quick and easy thing to do, put pockets in the skirt, which is brilliant. And there we go. I now have another wrap skirt, and this one it's somewhat rather more flowy because this material, now I think it's a viscose originally, but the way that it sort of sits, and once it's been ironed and the way that it creases, I'm beginning to think that possibly it's a cotton mix of some sort. I'm not sure what, but it's a little bit odd. I'm just not quite sure what it's made of, but it is nice and it feels nice, and I say it has a certain amount of drapiness to it, so it's really comfortable to wear. Now, I say that I've finished it, but actually I haven't got the snap. There's a snap that goes in here on the part where it connects on this side. I didn't have enough of the large snaps that I need, so I've got that on order. So hopefully that'll be with me before too long and I'll be able to put that on. But I am able to sort of just get it to sit there so I can show you. So there you go. One wrap dress. Sorry, wrap skirt. It was a dress when it started out. So I thought I'd just do a bit of a close-up of this side, what I've done here. This fastening on this side is exactly as it was meant to be, as it's done in the pattern. I've used the lining material for the ties because, unlike the main material, which is slightly, as you can see, it's got a slight sheen that to it. It's quite soft in that. This is more of a linen type, so when I tie it, hopefully that linen causes it to have that nice grip, so it's not going to sort of come undone by itself, as sometimes a bit of tension on a knot can do sometimes on a slippery material. So on this side, as you can see, I've got these like little belt loops, and that's all it is. It's just some like little belt loops and a tab, and then what I do is I can put it through whichever one I want, and then popper it up, because I will have a popper on there, a snap, so that that can then close up. And now my thought was, is that going to be too much tension? But then supposedly if I pull it across and tie it up, that takes the main tension, and that is just a little bit of tension so that this part of the skirt doesn't drop. And that's the idea of it. But because I'm able to put 3 of them on there, I can now adjust that depending on how much or how loose I might want that part of the skirt to be. So there you go, one skirt. And I know it's not particularly long, but I mean, look at it, it does move quite well. It's nice and drapey, as it were. It's got a lovely movement to it and that nice little sheen on it from the pattern, say with the ties that hopefully tie in quite well, and then with the addition of them loops and that additional tie on that side, that of course just needs the snap on there, and that's brilliant. Pockets in there after I'd worked out how to put them in, which like I said is quite a simple thing, but yeah, a lovely little wrap skirt. I quite enjoy wearing that, hopefully. Pattern is Simplicity 8133, and again, this is just so easy to make, and actually I've made one of the patterns. You know, you can have it quite long, you can actually have it as a very long skirt if you want, as a nice long wrap skirt. So yeah, a very versatile pattern, pretty easy to manipulate and change and make your own, really, on however you want it, with whatever material you'll feel like having a go with. So yeah, a brilliant pattern, and I've really enjoyed making this this skirt, which of course is an upcycle because originally the material came from a dress, so all round quite a winner, I think. So there you go, one finished skirt. If you like this video, please do give it a like, subscribe, and that way you'll get notification of my videos when they come out. Please do comment. I love reading your comments. It's nice to see what you're thinking about my garment, of what I've made, and also if you'd like to comment between yourselves, please do. It's always nice to see what you're chatting about. So it's just left for me to say thank you very much for watching my video, and I look forward to seeing my next video. Bye.
Young.